Hi children, good morning. Today we are going to discussing about seventh chapter, people and settlement. Settlement means generally people living somewhere with different kinds of activities like educational, religious, commercial, and different types of facilities like roads, buildings, transport, water, drainage, etc. According to our textbook, settlement is the way we organize ourselves and our living spaces in a place is called a settlement. In this chapter, we will discuss briefly human settlement with different geographical features. People who generally living settlement are living at a suitable place. We can't live on the mountains, in desert places, in the forest. Why? Because we can't construct railways, roadways on the hills. In our textbook, 3 images are given. These 3 images taken from the Himalayan range, but these 3 pictures has 3 different geographical features and different settlements. They want to construct buildings, houses, some areas risky areas. Look at the picture here. The city of Shimla, the capital city of the Himachal Pradesh, it designed only 25,000 people, but it is reached 2 lakhs people. It is little bit suitable for the settlement. Look at the picture B, landslide in Himalayas. It is a risky place. Why? Because the pieces of mountains falling on the houses and roads. So it is a risky place to settlement. Look at the picture C, a village in Trans-Himalayas in Nubru village of Ladakh. This region almost no rainfall. Farming only possible in summer only. Remaining time almost river water in solid ice or glacier. Now we are going to discussing about how did settlement begins. Thousands of years ago, the earliest people lived by collecting or gathering fruits, flowers, honey, and food from the plants and trees. Hunting animals for their food, animal skin for other uses. Early humans hunted animals and gathering food. That's why they were called hunter-gatherers. Today we use machines and tractors, other tools made up of steel. But the early people, their tools made up of stone and bones. They were nomadic people. They kept moving one place to other place always for searching food and water. They didn't stay or settle a particular place. But it was changed after practicing of agriculture. They took to growing crops only about 12,000 years ago. It brought about many changes in human life. People did not have to travel, but they habited a sedentary life. That means staying in one place. It is quite opposite of nomadic life. In nomadic life, the people moving one place to other place always. But in sedentary life, they want to stay in one place. One picture given in our textbook, a rock shelter used by the early human, which is located Madhya Pradesh, that is Bhimbetka. This type of cave shelter we can see in Andhra Pradesh, which is located in Kurnool district, that is Belem caves. As agriculture progressed, the people organized their life around patterns and observed in nature. For example, the seasonal cyclone, how to predict climatic conditions, how to plan the timings of the cropping practice, mainly sowing, harvesting, etc. so on. As the population increased, there was more specializations. Weavers, potters, metal workers, and other professionals emerged. The number of and variety of goods produced and increased, and so did their trade. The rulers began to encourage the craftspersons to settle in urban areas. Urban settlement, that is towns where people did not work in agricultural production. The people specialized in certain skills. Many goods were produced for the marketing and sold to traders who carried them to far off places. Why do the settlement changes? So in our textbook given Delhi, how the settlement took place in Delhi we have to discuss now. Many sultans and kings kept Delhi was the capital city of their empires or kingdoms. After independence also, Delhi is the capital city of our country. After partition of our country, the migration and immigration took place. Thousands of people came from the Pakistan to India, as well as from India to Pakistan. The city attracted by people from all the parts of our India as a capital of the country, with parliament, central government offices, public and private sector headquarters, many educational institutions like IIT, Delhi University, IGNOU, NIMS, etc. The city has attracted people from all parts of our India as they are migrating in search of food, of livelihood and jobs and better opportunities. Today, Delhi is the second largest city with more than 1 crore 60 lakhs people. In 1951, there was only 20 lakhs people. During the last 60 years, it has increasing 8 times only. The rise in population was mostly due to the immigration. Immigration means the people coming from the various states settling in Delhi. It has changed the composition and settlement pattern of the city. Now we are looking different types of settlements in Delhi. That means unauthorized colonies in Delhi. In other areas in Delhi, the areas continue without being accepted as a legal settlement. Such areas is called Juggi Jopadi. We find in Delhi there were different types of slums areas or poor people in the city. All of them started as being unauthorized colonies. These areas may not have proper streets, drainages and sanitation conditions. They are living in unhygienic conditions with overcrowd. These colonies also do not receive public amenities. Every city usually has a master plan to do design. In a city there should be housing areas, markets, schools, industrial areas, office areas, parks and recreational activities, so on. In the city, that means Delhi, had 3 such master plans. In fact, Delhi has grown in an unplanned manner. A planned colony usually has all facilities in a place. Look at the table. In the table given types of settlement: Juggi Jopadi clusters, slum designated areas, unauthorized colonies, Juggi Jopadis, resettlement colonies, rural villages, urban villages, planned colonies. Out of 100%, planned colonies occupy first place with 23.7%, and second place slums designated areas with 19.1%, and third place occupying by the Juggi Jopadi clusters with 14.8%. Till today, local authorities removing or eviction of slums and huts, mainly in Delhi, DDA, Delhi Development Authority. Now we are going to discussing subtopic: what kinds of places attracted settlement, what type of places is selected by the people, and what are the basic concept will take by the people to settlement. To understand this, we should know the 3 basic concepts. First one, site; second, situation; third, the history of the place. People will select on the basis of these basic concepts. Site refers to the characteristics of the place: its topography, altitude, water facilities like rivers, lakes, underground water, and types of soils, security, shelter. Site means not only place which have above facilities, then only people select and settle there. In early days, the kings and rulers kept their kingdoms and capitals suitable place, mostly river banks, and good protection from the enemies. For example, Chhatrapati Shivaji, a ruler of Maharashtra, built a fort in Pratapgarh. This site was selected because of its altitudes. From there, all the surroundings are seen easily. They can observe enemy activities from the fort wall and provided military security. Situation described the connection with other places. For example, Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam is located on the east coast and connected with different cities in India and also abroad, that means outside of India. Visakhapatnam has a long history. It was ruled by the different dynasties. During the 19th century, the British and the French fought a naval battle over the city. Apart from Visakhapatnam, Mumbai and Chennai also were developed by the European countries. Mainly these cities having a port facilities. All resources exploited from the India and sent their motherland through these ports. Visakhapatnam's population has grown significantly. Look at the picture table in our textbook. In 1901, the Visakhapatnam population only 40,892 people, but it is reached according to 2011 census 20,35,690 people. That means gradually Visakhapatnam population increasing. This growth is a result of the importance of Visakhapatnam as a port city. This population increasing also indicates the growth in economic and social opportunities. It is not a just used port city. They are connected to other places with 4 means of transport: roadways, railways, waterways and airways. The weekly village market in a village is very important. At these weekly markets, the people from several neighboring villages came to cities and conducted trade. People generally selected a good place for their settlement and better facilities like schools and hospitals. For example, a village or small town may have a PHC, that means primary health center. A PHC may be able to treat people for minor problems like cold, cough, small injuries and fever. If you need to surgery, you will go to nearby the bigger towns. If you have need heart surgery, brain surgery or MRI scan means a method of taking a picture of the internal parts of your body. You will have go to the big hospital. In towns, there will be high technology hospitals is located. A high technology hospital is usually not located in remote villages. That's why most of the people they selected cities and towns for their education and hospital facilities. Remaining portion we have to discuss in the second part of this lesson.